welcome to another episode of For Families podcast. Here we have conversations on children, on parents, for families. My name is Isabella Adediji. I hope you've been enjoying our past episodes. Now, I'd like you to do me a favor. Just go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and tap on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our episodes. You know that we've got you covered when it comes to the family. Now, when you think about a woman, you remember her as someone that nurtures. I think the media is to blame. We see women as nurturers, and the image that comes to mind is a mother breastfeeding her child, right? And it's not just with humans, even we have animals who breastfeed their children, and they're the females, right? And you think, oh, breastfeeding, that's something that will just come naturally to a woman. And that's what I thought, that, you know what, whenever I have my children, I'm going to breastfeed, and it's going to be a walk in the park. I don't know whether it was because I worked in a company that sold breast milk substitutes, so they drummed it in our ears. 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding, especially when we have breastfeeding week, the 1st to the 7th of August. And I've always known, or I've always thought, I will do the whole exclusive breastfeeding. Now, the one that gets me is on social media, where you see a mom and maybe a 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old is still breastfeeding. Like, how? Me, I knew that I would never do that one, but I think at some point I thought maybe 2 years, 1 year. I wasn't sure, but all I can say is that I'm so grateful for my friend Ronke. I call her Ronku's mama because, she told me about breastfeeding, and she was like, look, this thing is not easy, so you have to have the mind. And I also had the opportunity to speak to a lactation consultant. Not everybody has that, and that's why this episode on breastfeeding is so important. Whether you're a mother, a nursing mother, or even a father, or someone that works around people that are nursing, like, this is for everybody, because there's so much that we need to do in terms of awareness about breastfeeding, and I believe it's something that we shouldn't go into lightly. And that's why I'm really excited about our guest. Our guest is an international board certified lactation consultant. She is the founder of Milky Express. She's an Obama leader. She's passionate about infant and maternal health. And check this out, she's helped over 20,000 families who have had to deal with difficulty in breastfeeding as well as infant nutrition. So trust me when I say we bring the best here on For Families podcast. So like we always do, let's give her that For Families podcast welcome. My guest is none other than Titi Medunoye. Welcome. And I dare say you're looking very good. I love the ashoke, the pink.
Thank you. Pink is my favorite color.
It suits you.
Thank you.
Now, good to have you on For Families podcast. Breastfeeding. I don't know. As a child, have you always seen breastfeeding as something that you would do? And what were your initial, should I say, thoughts around breastfeeding before you became a mom?
So as a child, I always wanted to be a mom. So I just kind of thought like breastfeeding was a rite of passage. You know how you go to the hospital or like anything that has to do with like children or babies, you always see the mother sit down like this, carry her baby, and she's breastfeeding her. So it just looked like it was something that was just like it. You don't think about it, you just know that it will happen, or like you do it, right? So that's exactly what it was like for me.
You're so right, because as you were talking, I was like, yes, when you do go to the hospitals, it's either you see a pregnant woman or you see someone nursing, or even outside, breastfeeding is almost like you say a rite of passage as a woman, and the expectation is that once you have your children, you will breastfeed. I found out that it wasn't as easy, but I'm curious, what was your own experience?
Of course, it wasn't as easy. So I didn't start out being a lactation consultant. I didn't even know that this kind of career existed, and I never imagined that I would find myself supporting mothers or women to breastfeed. But when I had my daughter 11 years ago, I had such a terrible time breastfeeding. As a matter of fact, so first of all, I had a difficult pregnancy. So I was just looking forward to it being over. I was counting down to the 9 months, the day she's out and I'm free, I can rest. I didn't know that breastfeeding was going to be another completely different struggle. So it was a difficult time for me. Breastfeeding my daughter was completely difficult. At that time, I had no education, I had no support. There was no information. Literally, the only information I knew about breastfeeding is that picture of the mother that's carrying her baby and breastfeeding like this. That's all I knew about breastfeeding. Even in my antenatal, they just said, "Oh, breastfeeding is good for your baby," and that was it. Right? So the difficulty, the issues, so many issues, from pain to supply to bruises, I did not even expect it at all. It's really caught me unawares.
Wow. I mean, it's interesting how something that's personal, like a pain point to you, can end up being the solution for many people out there. Who would have thought? When I was saying your bio, you think, oh, this person went out and set out to be this international board certified lactation consultant. I want to take you back to your antenatal classes and also when you first had your baby, your daughter. Did the nurse or the doctor or anyone tell you anything about breastfeeding, like how to position the breast, how your supply will happen, what to look out for, things to use? Did you get any help like that?
So before, when I was pregnant, during my antenatal time, I didn't get any information. The only information I got was that breastfeeding is good for you and it's good for the baby, which is true. But after she was born, thankfully, I had her in a place that had lactation consultants. So I had a lactation consultant come in to see me. And the conversation she was talking about, oh, put the baby like this, oh, it looks like you have inverted nipples, all of that was so strange to me, right? I never heard anything. I just thought that nipples were nipples. I didn't know that, people have flats, inverted, large, small, different kinds.
What does inverted nipple mean? What does it mean? Because some people are here watching and they're like, inverted nipple, should I go and check?
Yeah, so inverted nipple is a nipple that is naturally or at rest is inside, it's not protruding.
Okay.
Right? It's not protruding.
So it's going inside.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I didn't know that there was anything like that. I just thought my breast was regular breast, right? But by the time she was having that conversation with me, it was late because I didn't prepare, right? So if I had had that conversation with her before the baby came, I would have done some things to prepare myself for breastfeeding. So it was like I had come, I'm here now, I'm struggling, what am I going to do? So she told me what to do, she helped me, guided me. But of course, it was like a hospital was in a hospital, so I'm not her only patient. So she spent about an hour with me and then she left, maybe 30 minutes with me and then she left. And that was it, And then when I talked to the nurses and they asked me, oh, are you breastfeeding? And I said, well, I'm trying to. They'll say, oh, sorry, we can help you or we'll send the lactation consultant to you. But she never came back, So I feel like there's a lot more that needs to happen before the baby comes, and that's where we're missing it. So now people are getting more up to speed about the role of a lactation consultant, but we're still missing the point that a lactation consultant should be part of the healthcare team. So I was with a new mom. She's not even a new mom, her baby is almost 2 months, but I was with a mom a few days ago and I was consulting, and she was like that she should have called me sooner, but she just wanted to try by herself first, and she wanted to do it by herself first to see how it goes and to see if there'll be any issues before she calls anybody. And I'm just asking her that, so when you're in labor, do you try to give birth by yourself first?
Wow.
Before you go to the hospital, right? You just know that, I'm in labor, it's time to go to the hospital, because you cannot do it by yourself. So a lactation consultant should be a part of the healthcare team from the beginning. We don't come in when there are issues, we come in to prevent issues, right? So that's where we're still trying to let everybody know and let there be more information around that.
Yeah, I totally agree. In my own case, I had a friend who just told me, like, we want to breastfeed, and went to secondary school together. Shout out to Ronke, Aronko's mama. I say this because she was pregnant with her second child, Isabella, namesake, at the time while I was pregnant with my first child. And when I just mentioned breastfeeding, she was like, "Come, this thing is not as easy as you think it is. Like, it takes a lot from you. Like, it's not going to be so easy. You need like ointment, cream." She was just, I think what she did in the few words she said was just to prepare my mind that this thing is not as easy as just carrying a baby and smiling. Like, I think she just, disabused my mind of that notion that this was going to be a walk in the park. So by the time I had the conversation with the lactation consultant, after I had given birth, I think I was a bit better in the sense that I knew that I needed help because this thing is not easy. So I agree with you that if we can have, maybe not in this case a Ronke, but an actual professional during the antenatal that lets you know the costs to breastfeeding on the mom's health, on the family, on work, on everybody, that you're better prepared. So what are things that people should bear in mind as they prepare, even before they have kids?
Good question. So some of the things that I would say that people should bear in mind as they prepare is to first of all get checked. So I had mentioned earlier about how I found out that I had inverted nipples, and they are tools, they are things now that have been created. Medical science is moving very fast, and so there are things that have been created to support mothers with certain breastfeeding difficulties. So for someone who has inverted or flat nipples, for example, they are like nipple shields that can be used, right, to sort of act as an additional, to provide like additional length to the nipple. I would have gotten that. I would have taken that to the hospital with me. I would have also probably started pumping. So another thing that was really important is the fact that even though we all have breasts come in different shapes and different sizes, as we know. And the size of a mother's breast has nothing to do with her ability to breastfeed.
Please, can you say that again? Because some people say, you have big breasts, I'm sure she's going to be able to breastfeed, and you find out that person has difficulty lactating.
Yeah, so like the size of the breast has nothing. It has absolutely nothing on breastfeeding, because the breast is made up of different things. It's made up of glandular tissues, which actually help to produce that breast milk. It's also made up of fatty tissues, which is plain fat. So if the ratio of fat to glandular tissues is higher fat, lesser glandular tissues, the mom might experience some breastfeeding difficulties. So a couple of things to look out for, and also, before I forget, is the fact that hormonal changes or hormonal issues can also be a factor for breastfeeding. So let's say a mom who is struggling to conceive, or a mom who is struggling to sustain a pregnancy, we find that a lot of times they tend to have difficulty with breastfeeding, because breastfeeding is also like a hormonal response in the body after the baby comes out. So things like having your nipple checked, finding out if your breast size is increasing during pregnancy, because it should increase. That's a good sign that, oh yes, milk is coming in and it's forming, and it's, so having all of that check is one of the very first thing that you should do, so that oh, I need to take a nipple shield to the hospital, oh, I need to buy my breast pump now and take it to the hospital, oh, I need to do this, I need to maybe get my a separate freezer or fridge where I'm going to store my milk, or even things like, oh, I have to go back to work immediately. So a lot of moms sometimes, like for me, because I had a difficult pregnancy, my maternity leave started a lot earlier than usual. And can we even talk about the fact that why is maternity leave so short?
Why? Maybe for working in a company that sold breast milk substitutes, they did it in such a way that you could take your annual leave, you could take your maternity leave, and you could take everything you could take, so that you could at least do that 6 months. But not every company is like that.
Exactly. How are we expected to exclusively breastfeed for 6 months when you barely have 6 months of leave? Because as you progress in pregnancy, it gets harder and harder to go to work. It gets harder to move yourself. It gets harder to do lots of things. So for me, because I was really I was really sick and I was dealing with a difficult pregnancy, I stopped work sooner. I couldn't wait until the 9-month mark, so I could enjoy the entire maternity leave.
Which still falls short of the 6 months.
Exactly. You know, so we have to begin to have conversations around that. Like, organizations need to begin to see the importance of having extended time for breastfeeding. I even think that not just organizations, but even government needs to put certain policies in place that forces organizations to do the right thing. You know, apart from even maternal leave, there has to be paternal leave. Like the father also has a role to play. If the father is not there to provide the adequate support that the mother needs, she can't do what she's supposed to do to care for the baby, right? So one day, I hear some organizations give you 1 day, some will give you 3 days. What is 3 days going to do in the grand scheme of things, right? So these are conversations that we need to have. These are conversations that you need to have with your HR, have with your organization, or if you're not even allowed to take extended leaves, you can't take more than 3 months or more than 6 months. Okay, how about working remotely? Or how about creating a space within the organization where you can pump, right? I remember very well going back to work and there was absolutely nothing. And at that time, myself and a colleague has just had the baby. And we're back at work. And, you know, obviously, when you're breastfeeding, you can't turn it off and turn it on. When your breasts are full, they're full. And when they're full, the milk will come out if you don't pump. Right? So the office had no facility, no room, no space whatsoever to pump. There are times that we had to pump in the bathroom stalls. There are times that we had to pump in the storage closets, like in a shelf where and there was no light inside the place. There are times that we had to run cables from the 8th floor to the basement of the building, right? So that we can pump our pumps and stay under the staircase to breastfeed. That was usually where the janitors would stay. You know, so we had to always be looking for, what can we do? Where can we stay? What can we do? Where can we stay? Thankfully, before my friend and I actually resigned and left the organization, we had set up and asked them to clear out one of the storage rooms to set up an actual room for not just breastfeeding mothers, but for pregnant mothers who have been sitting down all day and their back hurts and they need to go and sit down somewhere and put their feet up, or they need to take a power nap, or they need to rest or do something. We're able to set up a room that became like a nursing room. You know, so mothers will go there when they're pregnant. They can go there. They can continue working. You can go with your laptop. But now you can sit on a more comfortable chair. You can put your feet up. You can put the pillow behind your back. If you need to take a nap, you can take a nap. Organizations need to realize that a mother or a woman who is more supported to care for her family will actually bring the very best to their organization.
I 100% agree. So sorry about that. I can't imagine what it was like just looking for, space here and there, a bit of privacy, just so you're able to pump and wow. I remember when I came back and I started hosting events again, and there was one particular event and I'd left the house early in the morning and I didn't get back till evening, and literally my breasts were as hard as a rock. I was like, never again, it is too much, but there was nowhere to pump. So the next time I had an event, I actually went to the bathroom with my pump, and that is not ideal. Imagine dragging a chair in a hotel, for that matter, where the event was happening, and then just pumping and putting it away. But imagine if all hospitality organizations, for example, hotels say, we have one room that is designated for anybody that is nursing or pregnant, because people will come to your hotel and they might not be lodging there, they might be there for an event, So I think what you're saying, I have to add my voice that even public spaces, not just offices, need to have a designated area for nursing and pregnant women, because nature is nature. As I was listening to you, I was thinking, okay, we get HR involved, we get government involved. How can we get the fathers involved? How can we get the extended family involved? Because what you said was that when a woman is supported, she'll do better, in feeding her child. So how can we get them on board?
That's a very good question. Getting fathers on board and getting in-laws on board or family members on board, that has to do with it. The first thing that I think that we must address is the myths around breastfeeding, and not just breastfeeding, but the myths around parenting, especially in our region. there is a lot of expectations on mothers and not enough expectations on fathers.
Please say that again so they can hear it at the back.
There's a lot of expectations on the mothers that are not put on the fathers. And when you think about what a woman has to go through to have a baby, I've had both a C-section and a vaginal delivery. And I know exactly how I went through those periods and how I had to recover from those periods. And so when you think about the stress and the difficulty that a mother goes through to carry a pregnancy and to have a baby, and the changes that happen in her body, the hormonal changes, the mental changes, psychological changes, emotional changes, all of these things, you realize that the woman doesn't just need support to just help her fetch water or help her. Those things are great, but there is a lot more support that can be done to also care for the mother. There was a campaign that a friend and I did some time ago, a couple of years ago, and it was Hold the Mother Too. Because everybody comes to see the baby. Yes. It's all about the baby. Everybody comes with gifts for the baby. It's always about the baby. Everybody wants to see the baby. We're excited. The in-laws, they want to hold the baby. But who is caring for the mother? The mother also needs to be held. The mother also needs to be celebrated. The mother also needs to be supported. So we need to deal with that myth around nurturing or caring or parenting a child that just sort of seems to be a woman's sole responsibility. More and more research has seen the impact of fathers, in raising children, in raising wholesome children. And we need wholesome children because they're going to come into society and be the next adults and be the next, government leaders, right? So we cannot underestimate the role of fathers. We cannot underestimate the role of in-laws, of family members. So we need to, first of all, change. We need to educate, right? We need to re-educate the public. We need to re-educate them on the role of fathers in raising children. I saw a video recently. It was a great video. I thought it was a great video because it was Father's Day. And all the fathers were having like a Thanksgiving dance. They were in church and they'll come out and dance. And so this father backed his baby.
Oh yeah, I saw that video. Yeah. Yes.
And the father came out and danced and everybody was excited. And about maybe a week or so after, the church said that the father was being awarded as the father of the year, right? And they gave him something, a gift. And so in the comments, everybody's like, oh, he's doing the barest minimum, why are they celebrating him? Oh, he's not the father, shouldn't he have done that? Like, what's the purpose of celebrating him? And I found myself like somewhat between a rock and a hard place, because this is something that we don't see. Okay? This is something that we don't see. This is something that you hardly ever see. And so, should the man be celebrated? Probably he did a great job to support his wife. But should it really be celebrated? Not really, because it's also his child.
True.
Do you understand? Imagine if the woman just says, I'm not doing today. Like, I'm not cooking, I'm not carrying this baby, I'm not changing up, I'm not doing anything. Would you not be there to support your child? There are times when a mother passes in childbirth. Would he not be there to take care of his child? Right? So it's not, we need to, first of all, start having these conversations like it's normal. We need to start having this conversation like it's not. Bath your babies. Yeah. If as a mom, I'm learning how to bath my baby, as a father, you should also learn how to bath your babies.
Shout out to my husband, because you see that backing thing, he learned it before me. Like me, I'll be doing it like this and struggling, like, don't go and fall down. Please help me look. But he, like, Papa, he has done it. He baths the kids. Good. Like, and I hear you, because it should come natural.
Yes.
And this thing should be mainstream, that when one person does it, it doesn't seem like, oh my God, he's doing something so great.
Exactly.
I'm sure if we had 100 videos where a man was backing his child, it won't be such a the novelty would
wear out.
Yes,
exactly. The novelty would wear out.
Yeah, so why aren't we mainstreaming those things? Because they are, like, I just gave the example of my husband who does that without the awards, without the cameras, but yeah,
it's because society has made it seem like you're emasculating him,
and all he's doing is providing care for his child.
Because let's look at it. If as a man you can provide care for your babe, You can say, oh, how are you? Have you eaten? What can I get for you? Your leg is hurting. Oh, let me help you rub your leg. Oh, let me help you rub your feet. Do you want water? Let me go and get you water. If a man can do that for a woman that he's in love with, that means that he has the capacity to do it for his child.
Yes.
Do you see what I mean? He has the capacity. So we need to demand more from them. And we also need to let the family, in-laws, or whoever know that it is not out of place for a father. He's still a man. Nobody is taking that away from him.
So whether he changes diapers, he backs the baby, he feeds the baby, he bathes the baby, is a parent. Exactly. The same way a mother is a parent.
Exactly.
And I want to go back to your point about hold the mother too, because there's this belief that once a woman finishes having children, like you even said it, that, let me just be done with this thing and, enjoy myself. And really, I feel like it's another journey that is filled with pain, because you're still recovering, your body is still recovering.
Exactly.
So can we just talk a bit more about what a new mother is going through and how she can be held? I think that was a brilliant campaign, because we should also celebrate the mom and provide support for the mom.
So mothers need support in several ways, depending on the kind of birth that they've had. So, for example, if she has had a CS, if she has had a surgery, she needs support to care for both the baby and herself. She cannot be standing. She can't stand. After a surgery, I don't know if you had a surgery, but you can't stand up straight.
I didn't know that.
You're kind of bent over, because the stitch is just kind of holds everything together. So you can't stand up straight for the first couple of days.
I didn't know. Wow.
You can't be picking up heavy things. You're even advised to not carry your baby.
Wow.
You can't pick up heavy things. You can't bend down. So when we are thinking about what we are bringing for the baby, when we're thinking about diapers and wipes, we can think about sanitary pads. We can think about this cooling, what's it called, like postpartum pads that cool the vagina area. That soothe the vagina area. Healing ointments. We can think about breastfeeding products, Milky Express breastfeeding products. We can think about nursing pads. We can think about breast pumps, and then sit with the mother, care for the mother, sit by her side. Oh, do you want water? I can get you water. Or would you rather eat this or this? I can get it for you. Go with a prepared meal. Go with a prepared meal. Ask her how she's doing. Check on her mental health. A lot of mothers suffer postpartum depression, and we don't know. A lot of it goes unnoticed because we're not paying attention to the mother. We're only paying attention to the baby. So ask her how she's doing. Ask her how she's feeling. Check up on her mental health and her emotional health all the time. Provide the support. Ask her what she needs and provide that support for her. She may not need a bowl of soup, but she may need her house cleaned. Because for her, a clean house is what helps her think straight, or what helps her feel like she's safe and and the baby is safe. So actually go and help her clean her house, help her clean her space, do other things that will be on her mind, like, oh, I have to go to the store, oh, I have to go to the bank, oh, I have to do this. Ask her, do you need somebody to run errands for you? Because life goes on after you have a baby, right?
It sure does.
Life goes on. So ask her, oh, do you need me to run errands for you? How can I support you? How can I help you? And when she says, oh, you can just bring diapers. No, I'm not talking about the baby. I'm talking about you. What do you need? Because you hear the mom definitely say, oh, no, it's okay. You can just help me hold the baby. Oh, you can just help me bath the baby. But say, no, what about you? What do you need?
Yeah. And even with a vaginal delivery, some women have tears.
They have tears, exactly.
And
it's so difficult. It's so difficult to sit down.
Right? Like this one, it was a shout out to my friend in Kemjika. Like I love her. Like I had a tear episiotomy, right? And I was stitched up. I also had my second birth was a vacuum extraction delivery. So it was just a lot of pain. And sitting down was an issue. And during that period, I was doing a radio show and I was recording. So I'll have to sit down for long periods. And she was like, you know what, I'm going to get you a donut pillow. And immediately ordered it. And, it was a lifesaver. I was sitting on the donut pillow, so my stitches were not directly.
They don't have pressure.
Yeah, so that was great.
That's very, very true. So you can also even use travel pillows. I use travel pillows because I don't have a donut pillow with me. And you can also use your breastfeeding pillow as long as it's something. And even if you don't have all of that, you can actually roll up your blankets, roll it up and turn it around to look like a donut and sit on it.
Wow.
As long as there's no pressure, then that's where like the cooling pads for the stitches help. You know, a cooling pad that keeps
or even those
cool.
wipes,
like witch hazel wipes, to keep that place sanitized and clean. Because you see, the last thing that you want to deal with, if you face the fact, is that you've had stitches there, but you still pee and you still poo. So the risk of infection is very high.
That's true.
So that place really, really needs to be cared for. Yeah.
And you know, if a mom doesn't have to think about all these things, cooking, cleaning, her health, and you know, she just even has, you know, peace of mind, then she's in a better position to lactate and breastfeed. Exactly. Because we don't say it a lot, but breastfeeding is work. I want you, as a lactation consultant, international board certified, I'd like you to break down the work of breastfeeding.
Okay, so I'll go into it. Okay, so I'll first of all start by saying that breast milk is the most important food that your baby can have. It is the very, very best food that you can give your child between the ages of 0 to 6 months. Why? Because breast milk is alive, right? Breast milk is a living thing that creates, that rebuilds itself and creates and offers your baby exactly what they need to thrive. Your baby's intestines are not well developed to handle certain foods, including formula. Because formulas tend to have to be highly, like they've packed it with a lot of things, packed it with a lot of nutrients, packed it with a lot of proteins, which are good, but are undigestible by the baby's tummy because it's heavy, right? So breast milk actually gives your baby the very, very, very best. And you see, there's something called a feedback mechanism that happens when you breastfeed, when you put your baby to breast. That tells you, from the baby's saliva, your body is able to detect what could be going wrong with your baby. So your baby is about to have a cold. Your breast then creates the breast milk that fits the situation around that baby.
Wow.
That's how powerful breast milk is. Breast milk is so powerful that pediatricians and lactation consultants will advise you, before resorting to formula as the last option, consider other mothers' milk first.
Wow. So even if it's not your breast milk,
another mother's breast milk is still more optimal for you than formula.
I think they also use breast milk in the NICU, right?
Yes. So there are mothers who donate breast milk to the hospital for babies who are in the NICU, whose moms can't breastfeed, whose moms are not there or are unable to breastfeed. There's a lot of research going on around using breast milk in cancer research. Excuse me, right? So all of these benefits are there, and they are great, and they're helpful. So when you think about this and you know this, okay, so the best thing is to give my baby breast milk between 0 to 6 months. The next thing is to continue to offer breast milk, not as the only meal, right, but as a supplement up until 2 years of age. Continue to offer breast milk, even if it's once a day, even if it's twice a day.
That 2 years, not easy. That's why I said she talk about the work, because me, I tried, but I did not make it to the 2 year mark.
You know, I think that after the 6 years, the work actually reduces.
The 6 months,
after
right?
the 6 months, rather, the work actually reduces. But within that 6 months, that's where the work happens, because first of all, your baby eats literally like 12 times a day,
around the clock. That's why I said this thing is work.
Because you think that 2 hours, 12 times a day is like every 2 hours.
Wow, that's true.
Yeah, it's every 2 hours. So you think that, you've had some time to quickly. That's why when they say nap on your baby nap is very funny. Because all a baby does at birth is to eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. And so within that time, every 2 hours, you're literally feeding your baby. But within that time, you're also caring for your baby, right? And then you're also caring for yourself, right? So it's actually especially that first couple of weeks, is because you're trying to get into the rhythm of things. Your baby is trying to get into the rhythm of things. They're trying to understand what's going on in the outside world, So breastfeeding at that time, as frequently as your baby needs to, is tough. And guess what is even more interesting is the fact that your body, in order for you to produce that breast milk, you as a person needs to be well and whole and recovered. So your body's function is to keep you alive, is to regenerate for you. right? So when you are eating and you're doing things, you're resting, your body's priority has always been to care for you. But now your body is sort of divided into two. That has two priorities: to care for you and to also provide milk for the baby. And it takes your body a lot of work. It has been said that your body burns almost 400 calories breastfeeding every day. So it takes your body a lot of work.
That's a whole workout.
Yeah. It takes your body a lot of work to create that breast milk. So there's that stress already that you have had the baby. Then there is that stress that your body is going through to create that breast milk. So you need additional rests. You need additional rest.
But how do you rest if you have to breastfeed every 2 hours, at least in the beginning?
Good. That's why you need help. Because at the beginning, the only thing you should be caring about is feed your baby and sleep.
Mamas, I hope you are hearing.
Yes. Feed your baby within that first 2 weeks. You should not be carrying anything. You should not be trying to clean anything. You shouldn't even be trying to bath your baby.
Well, you shouldn't be cooking.
You shouldn't be cooking. You shouldn't be doing anything like that. We tend to think that, we're okay, we're strong, we're okay. But there's the internal healing that happens in your body as well.
Thank you for saying that, because I felt like after my first child, like Energizer Bunny, it was someone on social media, that reached out to me, an older mother, and just said, look, your body is still healing, like take it easy, and don't be fooled that because you have the energy you need to be the one cooking and cleaning and doing all these things. So important.
Yeah, don't be fooled. Honestly, there's a lot of healing process that happens within your body, within your uterus, that requires time. So all you should be doing within that first 2 weeks, just feed your baby and sleep. Feed your baby and sleep. Don't worry about bathing. Don't worry about and it's funny that in the Western world they don't bath their baby every day.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we'll be bathing the baby 2 times a day.
When the baby is not going to site, the baby is not a bricklayer.
I don't know why we're bathing a baby 2 times a day.
The skin is not even ready for the bath.
Yes.
We are not bathing our own children every day.
We need to relax. We need to actually chill, right? So when your baby, all you should be doing is feed your baby and stay in bed. Stay in bed. Feed your baby, sleep. If you need to get up, use the washroom, go back and be in bed. Because there's more to come. So that by the time you now start thinking about, now I can move around, I need to start moving around, then you can now start thinking about pumping and then having someone else feed your baby so that you have more time for yourself. So let's say your baby is feeding every 2 hours. So you feed, after feeding you pump, you have enough left for the next meal. So that gives you like the next 4 hours because somebody else will feed the baby and then you're not needed until another 4 hours. So we need to look at what our own day-to-day activities are like, look at the kind of support that we have and take it. When somebody offers you help, take it. There's no need to be a superwoman.
At all. Like,
you've had the baby, we know that you're a superwoman. We already know. Right? So when somebody offers you help, take it. And when they don't offer you help, demand it.
So important. Like, I mean, if I could go back, there are some things I probably won't have done.
Do differently.
Yes, like I probably would have taken it a whole lot easier, and even if I felt like I had the energy to cook and to clean and to record and all those things, I probably would have toned it back, because I feel like even after you've had a baby 1 year, 2 years, your body is still healing. Yeah, so
that's what they always say. I heard I don't know if the research is true, but I heard something that says that it takes a woman's body almost 5 years to completely return to normal.
I believe it,
the
because
organ changes and everything, to completely return to normal after a baby is born. So if you don't get help, my sister, demand it.
Yes, so
they didn't just come to. Nobody should come to your house and they're coming for omugo and you're the one that's cooking for them. And you're the one that's asking them, what are you going to eat? I don't get it. Why are you here?
And if they cannot do the omugo, it's okay to get external help. Yes, so we need to mainstream that part too.
It's okay to get a help.
Because you will not be the one doing omugo for the omugo.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like, why are you coming to do omugo and I'm the one cooking for you? I'm the one asking what are you going to eat? I'm the one going to... Why? If you will be of no benefit to me, let me get somebody else that I will pay and that will do it for me. So we need to begin to be more open. It's that sentimental...
Yeah.
Excuse me. It's that sentimental feeling of, omugo, your parents. And I always say this, and I'm going to say this just because a lot of people are going to watch this. And I want to put this out there. I know that some cultures have it that is the husband's mother that goes for omugo. If the wife's mother is available, right? I think she should be the first option. Just because I'm not saying that the husband's mother is not great. She's probably a wonderful woman, but there's a kind of vulnerability that comes with being a new mom, that you can only truly be and with somebody that you're truly comfortable with. Right? I remember how my mom, I would tell her what I want to eat and she'll make it. And when she brings it to me, I'll tell her it's cold, so she should go and warm it. And she'll go and warm it. And when she brings it back, it'll take me like 15 minutes to eat. And when I'm eating it halfway, I'll be like, it's cold.
Again.
She'll go and warm it. How many people can I be sending message to like that? Do you understand?
Just eat it now. What's even wrong with you? So I should go and warm it again.
What manner of rudeness is that?
Yes.
Do you understand? There's a vulnerability that you just probably want to sit down and cry. Because your body is like, what's going on? There's a lot of changes. You don't know why you're crying. You're just crying. Like, you just want your mommy. You see what I mean? So if the wife's mother, if the wife's mother is not available, somebody else that is closer to her, maybe a sister, a cousin, an auntie, before. And I know that, especially with moms, when women have old boys, it feels like, so I won't have any chance at all.
No, what they should still do a move. They should do.
They should do, But I just always feel like,
if they watch this episode and they know
better.
Yes, that see, you're not going there to start making demands of your daughter.
Exactly. They should not go there to come, and they should go there and make her feel as comfortable as possible to request for anything that she wants.
That's why I'm even saying daughter, because you shouldn't say as
Exactly. I remember with my mom-in-law when she came, because I had both moms. I had my mom for some time and I had my mother-in-law. I would tell her what I wanted to eat, and she would make. And if she had to go to the market to buy things, she would go to the market and buy things and make what I wanted to eat. I was the priority. But unfortunately, I've seen and heard so many stories where the woman is not the priority.
The woman is the priority. Very quickly, as we bring this conversation to a close, in your experience, helping over 20,000 families who have had either breastfeeding difficulty or issues with feeding their infants, what are the key lessons that you've taken away, and how can that help nursing mothers or people who are going to one day support nursing mothers or currently doing that?
I think the first lesson that I would say is to trust your guts. A lot of times moms feel like there's something wrong, but they can't really pinpoint it, maybe with their baby or with themselves, but they can't really say what it is, but they just feel like something is wrong. So number one, trust your gut. If you feel like something is wrong, go to a hospital. And if that doctor is not taking you seriously, go to another hospital. And if that one is not taking you seriously, go to another hospital. Until you find someone who takes you seriously and does the checks that you need to check. Right? Trust your guts. Another thing I would say is prioritize both mother and baby, not just baby. Prioritize both mother and baby. Hear her out. Hear how she feels. Know what's going on with her. We need to change that mindset that mental health issues are a taboo. We can't talk about it. We can't, let her be free to express herself, express how she feels. Sometimes a mother has a baby and the natural feelings that you should get, that excitement, that love, is not there. She doesn't want to see the baby. She doesn't want to be near the baby. Ask questions. Observe. Observe. Watch the mom. How is she behaving? How is she looking? How is she speaking? Is she really happy? Does she really look happy? We've had moms who take their lives as a result of postpartum depression. And there are a variety of postpartum moods and anxiety disorders. There are lots of things. We need to be more sensitive around that. I don't know if I have time to share this story, but I saw a video about a guy who was playing a prank on a mom. And the mom went out and she was coming back and he was holding their baby. She looked like she was probably 1 year old. And he dropped the baby from upstairs, but it was a doll. And the mother ran frantically. She took off her shoes and ran, tried to get there on time to catch the baby, but she didn't. And when she got there and she collapsed on the floor, she was weeping because she thought it was actually her child. But when she checked, it wasn't her child, it was a doll. But she didn't stop crying, because something that we don't talk about is the anxiety that comes being a new mom. Worrying about that child, like, is this child okay? Am I feeding him enough? Is he alive?
Yeah.
You check, are they still breathing? You check every 2 minutes. Are they?
Yes.
So imagine having to already deal with that as somebody plays that kind of prank. That's so insensitive.
Yes.
So we need to be more observant. We need to take away from the fact that, it's a normal thing, childbirth, breastfeeding is a normal thing, no biggie. No, it is a big deal. So support mothers. When mothers make a decision on what they want to do, if they want to exclusively breastfeed, if they want to do like a combination feed, support their decisions and create an environment for them to thrive. Yeah.
Thank you so much, and wish you all the best as you continue to help mothers and families. I believe this will bring so much peace and, I would say, even light into some homes, because really it's a lot of work when you breastfeed, when you become a new mom, and everybody has a part to play.
Yep.
And you have just done such a brilliant job highlighting how we can all be a part of the solution rather than a part of the problem. Thank you again, Titi Medunoye.
Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome to What I'm Loving Now. This is the segment where I put you on to all the good stuff for the family. So what am I loving now? It definitely has to be paint and sip. I've always been an arts and crafts girly. Even if you were not one, with the different events that feature paint and sip, I'm sure you've caught that bug. You know why I love paint and sip? Is because you can be a man, you can be a woman, you can be a boy, you can be a girl, whatever age, as far as you're not like a baby that you can't hold a brush and paint, you can definitely do paint and sip. And it's so chilled, because the fact is, I believe that all of us were artists. Some hone their talents, some of them spend hours learning how to use color, to tell stories, to create art. But inside all of us, we have the ability to take that brush, put it inside the paint, put it on the canvas in an intelligent way or a creative way, and we'll still come up with something that we can hang on our walls or we're proud of. Doesn't mean that, because we're not artists by training, that we can still enjoy making art, because that's what it is at the end of the day. That picture that you painted is art. And what I love about paint and sip is the fact that everybody can do it. It's such a family friendly activity. So I love how when I go to birthday parties now, you have a section for paint and sip for young kids. So instead of them just running around and just playing games and all of that, you can get them to sit down and channel that energy into their paintbrush. I also love it that adults are also doing it, because there's that child in us that enjoyed painting during fine art class or painting as part of arts and crafts, and then you get to relive that childhood experience. I mean, say the truth, if not because of paint and sip, will you just naturally pick up a brush and paint and start painting away? And now you can have so many things. So you can literally be by the beach and you're painting something that's around the beach, or they can already draw the item for you and even guide you. And that's why paint and sip is not just you. There's an instructor that will say, no, maybe mix it like this or do it like that. And you two, you're feeling like a pro, like, okay, yes, I did that. So it's the assistance too that also helps. Let's not lie, having that picture out there that you just follow. Or sometimes you can even challenge yourself. They've not drawn a picture for you, but choose an option that you think you'll be able to paint and, have this work of art. So paint and sip, totally recommended for old, young, for kids. And when you do have events, think about putting it there. So I've attended a bridal shower of one of my friends, Moyiko, and I really love that they did paint and sip there. And as I said, kids parties, and even just events that are just paint and sip, like paint and sip NG. If you don't know where to start from, check out paint and sip NG, and they have classes. You can check out what they've done with organizations. So yeah, even just beyond the family, are you an organization too? Are you thinking, what can we do for staff family day, or do something for our department to chill? Totally recommend paint and sip. So that's what I'm loving today. It's now time for our burning question. I love that you guys are keeping the questions coming. I'll try my best to answer. So I'm not a professional, but what I will say is that I'll share from my experience and I'll be very honest. And I believe we can all learn from each other. So if you do have a question for us on For Families podcast, don't be shy, send it. You don't have to put your name on it. And as much as possible, we'll try to get through all the questions. So I particularly like today's burning question because it's something that I've actually thought about, which is, AI and schoolwork. Like, help, my child only wants to use AI to do their homework. It's a valid fear. Like, what do I do? You're not alone, no. I mean, I know that my children are still young and they're not yet using AI, but the way they just move around those gadgets, they're digital natives. I know it's only a matter of time, and I've already started thinking about it, like, okay, how do I get my kids to not just be fully dependent on AI? What I will say is that there's a place for AI, but there's a place for your child doing the work, the actual thinking, the actual writing, the making of mistakes and learning from mistakes. And I think that's what's so powerful about learning, that it's in the doing that you actually learn. So thank God that schools are waking up to AI and they have software that will catch you. Even as adults, you apply for something and they will tell you that don't use AI. And they're telling you that because they're going to use software that will detect the AI. So especially when the school has said don't use AI, the organization has said don't use AI, first of all, just obey. So if your child's school hasn't already started saying it, maybe you might speak to them to say, look, maybe you need to come out straight to say AI is not allowed for this assignment, so that it's not even an option, and that if they use AI, there will be penalty. So I think the schools can get involved. Secondly, even if your child is trying to use AI, you need to sit down with the child and explain that, look, AI is great. It makes the work easier. But what if tomorrow you're stuck somewhere? There's no internet, there's no light. And trust me, in Nigeria, in Africa, we see power cuts. But guess what? In the West, in America, in Canada, they take light. So what if there's no light? They've cut the power and there's no internet. How do you want to now do the work? What if a situation comes and you're in the office and the office has said you can't use AI for this? Then what happens? So you have to let them know that there are scenarios that are going to come where they won't be able to use AI. Secondly, you need to also let them know that the purpose of school is not just to get good grades. It's about learning. If you are using AI to do everything because you want to get good grades, when you are now there, like let's say you want to be a doctor and you are using AI to answer all your questions, in the operation room as a surgeon, is it AI that is going to come and do the operation? No, you still need to apply yourself. So you have to let them see that there's still a place for human beings. Then you can go a step further and say, look, this AI is other people's work. AI is relying on what other people have put on the internet. And sometimes everybody is not right. So even using AI is no guarantee that you even get the correct answer. And there have been instances where AI has misled people. So you need to let them know that, see, AI is not 100% foolproof. Secondly, is it right for you to take somebody else's work and pass it as your own? That's a morality question, and you can be open. Like, how would you like it if you've put your work out there on the internet and then somebody else comes, copies everything and submits it and gets a good mark? You won't like it. And that's where plagiarism comes in. It's not too early to tell them about plagiarism. It's not too early to tell them about intellectual theft, so that they can also see that, look, there are some things that are wrong, and that's why the school or the organization says, don't use AI. And other things are down to, what about your own ethical considerations? So let's start having those conversations. I hope this has helped. I'm not sure they will immediately stop using AI, but encourage them to do things without AI so that they can keep their imagination going. They can build up their critical thinking skills, their ability to research and problem solve. And I wish you all the best. Let me know how it goes. Yeah. Wow, this is the part where I have to say goodbye, but not before I give you a brief recap of what we discussed today on For Families podcast. We had an international board certified lactation consultant, and our conversation went around breastfeeding. It was all about the work of breastfeeding, but it didn't just focus on the mother. It also looked at what other people can be doing: the in-laws, the fathers, society, government. Everyone has a role to play if a mom is really going to be able to breastfeed her child for 6 months or 2 years. So I think this is something you should share to everyone, really, because the interview was packed with a lot of nuggets. And we also looked at some of the challenges first-time moms face. And then for what I'm loving now, paint and sip. Like, I fancy myself a bit of an artist, but I don't get to practice my painting skills as often. So I'm always excited when I see Paint and Sip. And if you don't know where to start from, just check out Paint and Sip NG, and I'm sure they can sort you out, Finally, the burning question, AI. Can we run away from this AI? No. But when it comes to your children and schoolwork, you can't put your foot down. The school should put their foot down so that our children are able to think critically, they're able to engage, and they're able to function. What if AI disappears? Like, what if? What then happens? So it's a great conversation to have, and AI is a tool. I don't think it's supposed to replace our own intelligence. So yeah, this is not AI, by the way. Let me just put that disclaimer out there. But what you can do, which AI cannot do again, is you can tap the bell so you get notifications. You can subscribe to our channel. You can follow us across our different social media platforms. You can send us messages. All these things are you, not AI. And you can tell people about For Families podcast. I've had an amazing time today. My name is Isabella Adediji, and I can't wait to bring you another episode of For Families podcast. See you soon.